This Organized Chaos video is brought to you by Gems Art Studio. This video is also brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Hello again. I've decided to do a bit more of an editorial because I want to talk about some stuff. By the nature of the past few videos, I've found myself in a position where I'm essentially defending Disney a lot. And when I say Disney, I mean Marvel, because Marvel's owned by Disney. And I want to make one thing absolutely clear. Disney is a huge company that I absolutely despise. Almost by its very nature, I hate huge companies. They are gross and disgusting. They're almost certainly culpable or commit many crimes on their own. They almost certainly use slave labor in various parts of the world. Huge companies are just evil, almost by their very nature. So I find it weird that I will frequently defend a company like Disney from random YouTubers, but I find myself in that position mainly because lots of people are getting caught up in the culture war. And I obviously am as well. And it is very frustrating because it's exactly what these corporations want us to do. How do I want to say this? White men have been in a position of power for a very, very, very long time. People are used to seeing white men in a position of power. So anytime that status quo is shaken up in just a little bit, no matter what the reason, there's going to be white men who are scared. And because these are people who traditionally have positions of power, they won't be afraid to speak up about it. Much like a white man is not afraid to speak up against them. And this is the problem. When people say that there is a woke agenda, they are both 100% right and 100% wrong. Is there a concerted effort to have less movies starring white men recently? Yes, absolutely. That is very much a thing happening. Is there a concerted effort maybe to have more female directors and have those directors be more recognized? Yes, absolutely. That is absolutely a thing happening. Are major businesses doing this for bonus points or some sort of karma points or whatever and willing to take a financial loss for it? No, that's not why they're doing that. They're doing it because, as a general rule, these movements are gaining traction. Being gay. 20 years ago, just 20 years ago, I remember, was seen as being like something disgusting. Something you just don't do. Now, granted, 20 years ago, it was starting to be more accepted. But was still something kind of frowned upon. Now, it's considered almost normal. It's just another state of being, which it should be. We are moving more in a direction where that is more acceptable. Just like we are moving more in a direction where trans issues are becoming more acceptable. Trans people are becoming more accepted. All this stuff is going to become more and more accepted as time goes on. Big companies understand this. So, rather than possibly hurt their future, where maybe 20 years from now, they'll stake this big claim that they will be against trans issues, and then 20 years from now, their company gets destroyed because people are well, they are against trans issues. What the fuck's wrong with them? Rather than do that, they'll go ahead and embrace trans issues. And what you end up with is people freaking out over these issues and not freaking out over the actual crimes these companies commit. Not freaking out over the actual heinous acts these companies commit. And it's super frustrating because I find myself defending these companies just because these people attacking them are attacking them in sexist ways. They're just being ridiculous. And I don't know how else to say it except these companies are going to push culture war ideas in the way that they will go in the future. They see how these things are going because we have a history. We can see how these things are going. Interracial marriage used to be unacceptable. Now it's like fine. It's 100% fine. Being gay used to be unacceptable. Now it's fine. Trans issues are going to go the exact same fucking way. I know there's going to be commenters saying they aren't, but they fucking are. It's the exact same thing. All this stuff is the exact same thing. Gender fluidity. It's going to go the exact same fucking way. And because we have a history, because we see how these issues go, these companies are going to go ahead and early on say, you know what? We'll go ahead and go with the flow. Rather than fight this, we're going to go with the flow. And then people get upset with these companies over it. And then they let these companies get away with absolute fucking crimes behind the scenes while they're yelling at the top of their voice, how dare you take away a white man starring role in some fucking comic book or movie? You know, and it's almost always some sort of B-grade character at the very most. Sometimes it's like C and D-grade characters. Like, oh yeah, we had a gender... Whatever character Layla was. Like Scarlet Scarab, I want to say. Yeah, how dare we have a gender-flipped Scarlet Scarab? We care? We care? But you have these people yelling at the top of their lungs about this. And my advice for this culture war stuff. Let the corporations fucking win. Let them have this win. Let them have all the female characters in the world. Because, number one, what's the problem? What is the problem with that at all? There's no problem with that. Have more female superheroes? Sure. Why the fuck not? Have more people of color superheroes? Why the fuck not? Have trans superheroes? Why the fuck not? I could give a shit. I don't want to focus on this shit. And my goal has been to just kind of bring these people out into the light. Just kind of expose them for their bullshit. And maybe we can get these people to fucking shut up so we can focus on the actual issues. And that's been kind of the goal of the channel for a little bit. Still working on adding stuff, but yeah. Fighting the culture war because these fuckers won't shut up about it. And meanwhile, we get to ignore, like, all the criminal rights abuses these corporations do. All the wage slavery. All the actual slavery. All that gets swept under the rug because they changed the fucking gender of some D-grade character. Jesus Christ, people. Let that shit go. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that they gender swapped Makari. Okay, maybe like 5 people care. Nobody cares. But I do care about human rights abuses. I care about Disney employees making enough money to feed their family. My plea to all these right-wing, oh my God, what will we do? They're taking the white man's power away, despite the fact that almost all CEOs, all the most powerful people in this country are fucking white men. Oh my God, they're taking the white man's power away. Fucking let them. Let them. Because some woman starring in a Marvel movie is not the problem with our culture. Some person of color starring in a Marvel movie is not the problem with our culture. The problem is corporations have far too much power. And while you focus in on all this dumb culture war stuff with the corporations, you allow them to be in the right. So when you attack these huge, multi-billion-dollar corporations for essentially doing the right thing, for essentially letting a woman star in a movie, you're allowing them to be in the fucking right. And you're making me defend them because in that moment, they're in the fucking right. And I hate it. My goal is to expose these people for the idiots and the sexist and the racist that they are, in the hope that people will see them, their ideas get rejected, and they can shut the fuck up, and we can focus on the actual issues in the world. I hope you enjoyed my little rant.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.